Hi everybody, I'm Sunny and you're watching Sunny Preps, and I'm already up to my elbows in dirt. It's time to start planting my potatoes. I referred to my Clyde's gardening guide, which I have completely fallen in love with since I got it. I first heard people talking about these when they went to HOA, and Clyde was actually there as a vendor, I believe, selling these. And I think even Jess from Roots and Refuge got kind of fangirl when she met Clyde. But I wasn't that excited about it until later when I heard her actually describe all of the information that is on here. If you just know your date of last frost in the spring and first expected frost in the fall, then you can line up the little line. And it gives you so much information. It's really cool. I think it costs $5 on the Baker Creek Seed website. And there was even a custom one for Roots and Refuge for a while. I didn't get that one. I don't know if it's still available. But once I got it, I'm like, why did I ever try to make it without this? It's so nice and compact in one little space. There's information on there I will probably never use because I just don't plant all the things. Anyway, it's time to get the potatoes in the ground, and I have my starts cut up and in the kitchen, and they're curing, and I am mixing some potting mix. So when I used these bags last year, I used them for tomatoes, and when I took the soil out, I noticed the top of the soil was nice and moist, but the bottom was pretty dried out and really rock hard. I've heard other people talk about that being a problem for them as well. So I'm going to try to fix that by taking some advice that I found on YouTube, and that is to mix a little sand in with the soil to keep it from clumping quite so hard. And when I ordered some seeds from MI Gardener, he automatically included these soil moist granules. This is just a free sample, but I'm going to mix these into the soil that I'm putting my potatoes in to help keep the soil moist. And I am also using an idea from another website that I saw. And that one, they used a piece of PVC pipe and closed off the end and drilled some holes in it to help get the water all the way down to the bottom and not just on top. So I thought I could use this, and I've poked little holes in here, just a couple of them. And when you leave the cap off, the water shoots out pretty nicely through the little pinholes, but if you put the cap on, it just drips out. So I'm going to put this in the grow bag to help release water out to the soil more slowly. In my last video, you saw that I had started seedlings inside, all in container gardens that I'm planning to put on my front porch. And my potatoes are growing in grow bags. I might go ahead and plant some stuff in the raised beds that I have, but I'm trying to keep things portable because there might be a change in plans. I have a really small gardening area in this household and really no room for chickens. Even if the city would allow me to have a couple of chickens, I just don't have the room for them. And there's a lot of information about a global food shortage coming soon. The UN has released a warning about the global food shortage. A lot of countries have stopped exporting foods because they are expecting food shortages. Locusts are eating up the food supply in Africa and Pakistan and moving in toward India. The African swine flu decimated the population of pigs in China, and I believe I've heard from one source that it's expected to hit the US this year. And of course, with all the flooding that we had last spring and the early hard freeze that we had this past fall, even crops here in North America have been challenged. So I want to be able to grow more of my own food. That was always, well, that has developed into the plan over the past few years from a prepper standpoint and from a homesteading standpoint. I want healthy food that is grown as organically as possible without all the chemicals either in my body or in the environment. It will just be healthier, and so far I am nowhere near that at all. They haven't started growing Swedish fish in your own aquarium yet, so property was never going to be my permanent home. I moved here to start investing in real estate, and I have done that, and I've picked some property that I think should be fairly recession proof. I'm pretty happy with those, and knee-jerk reaction, thought about selling because the real estate cycle is at its top right now, but in the long run I've decided to hold on to them. I think that's going to be a good investment, and I will still keep that. And I have property managers in the area that will be taking care of them when I go further away, and they're used to dealing with property owners that are at a distance, so that's not going to be anything unusual. I would like to move back closer to where I did most of my growing up. I'm sort of a child of the continent, but of the North American continent. I've lived all over the place, but mostly I grew up in West Virginia, and I would like to live there. That's what feels like home. I lived in Arizona for a while, in the very dry, hot, arid desert regions, and when I drove home and crossed the Ohio River into the mountains of West Virginia, they were in full leaf, and the trees were forming tunnels over the country roads, and it felt like driving into the embrace of your mom. It was wonderful. Definitely felt like home. And so since then, I have realized that I probably should be in West Virginia. And it's taken me a while to be able to get back there between jobs and economic opportunities. So I think I'm going to take this time and go back and look. So I am shopping for a homestead opportunity in West Virginia. So if any of you have ideas or lists of things that I should look for, especially those of you who have bought a homestead and been blindsided by, and oh, I should have known this before I bought something, or that would have been useful information, or I forgot to look for this, that kind of stuff, please leave a comment below, or even find my email below and send me a letter, and I will take into consideration all the advice that I can get from a homestead perspective and a prepping perspective. I don't want to be too close to the city when the economy really starts to feel the effects of all the things that has been done to it lately. So I want to be private and secluded, but not isolated, and I want to have water sources available for animals if and when I have them, or for emergency for myself. I've even thought about doing hydroelectric generation, because 2019 saw a 10% reduction in solar power because of the grand solar minimum. And if that's true, I have some solar panels, but I don't want to rely completely on solar panels. I will be buying a place with a wood stove or putting a wood stove in some place. I am not going to start from scratch. I need something that has a house on it that I can live in, maybe fix up some, but I am not going to be building a house from scratch out in the middle of nowhere. So it's good to know your limitations, and I know that's one of mine. It's early April, and I'm starting the search now. I may not get to someplace in time to really get a full-blown garden in this summer. So that's why I'm doing container gardening and things that I can put in the car and take with me and then set out when I get there. It will be a hassle, but it'll be okay. The property that I'm in now will eventually turn into one of my rental properties, but I'm not under a pressure deadline to move out of there, so that's good. It's going to stay in the family, and family members are going to be living in it even when I'm setting up the homestead. So for now, it's potato planting time. Now, if my understanding is correct about the best way to plant potatoes is to plant them now in that's about 4, maybe 5 inches of soil, and plant them now in here, and then cover them up with a bit more, and then they will be sort of at a level that I have this bag turned down at. And as they grow up, leaf out, I can roll the bag up and keep burying them deeper and deeper. If I had the bag like this when I first planted them, they would get too much shade, not enough sun on the leaves. But if you roll the bag down, then the leaves can all get plenty of sunlight, but you still have the option to add soil on top of them as they grow. So I think I'm actually going to put a little more soil in this now, just so I can get the soil all mixed up at one time, and then I will dig down in a little bit to plant the potatoes. Well, I got the 3 bags done, and it's hard to tell in the video, but I am definitely losing light. And there's my raised beds. As our puppy grew and became more rambunctious, he discovered he could jump in the garden beds and dig them up. So they are a mess. That'll be a project for another day. Thanks for hanging out with me today while I got some soil mixed up for my potato bags. I'll get a few more buckets done. Homegrown Veg says you can grow plenty of potatoes in 10-inch buckets, as he says. And I have a bunch of buckets. So I'll finish doing some more soil on another day. I still have to let my potatoes cure for a couple of days, and I need to get back inside and make some more masks. I'm going to drop off a delivery tomorrow morning with my friend that works in a pediatrician's office for her and other people in the office, and then figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of the masks. I've been making like a crazy person lately. Tomorrow I'm actually heading down to West Virginia to go check out a few locations. So I'm going to be planting like a crazy person for the rest of the spring, and any container I can possibly get together, maybe put some more starts in, so that if I do pick out a property anytime soon and I can get things in the ground down there, that I'll be able to take advantage of that, even if they're a little late getting in the ground. If they're started already, then that's good. I hope you guys are staying busy and finding a way to contribute to the cause, whether it really is just staying inside or whether you're making masks or helping people homeschool. I can't even imagine all the opportunities that are available right now, but it's a difficult balancing act between staying sheltered in place and helping out and doing your part to get the nation through this crisis. So if you have ideas of things that people can do without getting out there and exposing themselves, please leave them in the comments below. There's got to be tons of things that I can't even think of. Whatever it is you're doing to get through this trying time, keep smiling, because a rainy day is no match for a sunny disposition. Talk to you later. Bye. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and share. Don't you wish digging in the dirt was good for your skin and your fingernails? I have a feeling it is, because it's good for your soul. It's got to be good for your fingernails. Bye, guys.